What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of 2 Times the Grind. And thank you so much for coming back a fourth time. We appreciate you so much.
4 episodes.
4 episodes in. 4 episodes deep.
Yeah.
It's a Netflix series at this point. I mean,
time's flying by.
Actually, do you know what's the worst part about doing this podcast? I realize how fast weeks go.
Yep.
And that's terrifying.
Yep.
But I still love it because I look forward to this.
Me too.
But I don't like wishing the days away. However, I do love talking esports with you. So
Me too.
It's worth it. I tell you what though, folks, we do have another coffee to try today. This one's very special. This has come all the way from Seattle, and this is from Dashy. Dashy is, of course, with HCS. He works on Halo with 343. Absolute legend. We love him. And Dashy, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sending this. This coffee is a light roast. It is called Queen Anne, where it all began. And Peach, obviously this is a full bean, so whole bean, excuse me, for all you coffee lovers out there. We're learning here. It is
the ways.
Yeah, we are learning the ways. It is a whole bean coffee, so you do have to grind it, which is actually so lovely. So in the morning, if you do have a bit of time and you grind your own coffee beans, the smell that fills your kitchen is divine. So talk me through this. We've got some taste notes on the back here. We love some notes here on 2 Times the Grind. What do you think is in this coffee? What notes from grinding it? Because we haven't tasted it yet. So what would you say?
It says it on the back.
It says it on the back.
All right.
It's a light roast, bear in mind.
Light roast. Okay, so I'd say obviously I just did it, so I feel like I'm hoping I can be a little accurate. I'm not a pro by any means, so I'm sorry if I get it wrong. A little bit fruity. A light roast. I feel like light roasts tend to be.
On the money there.
Is it fruit? Like there's
clementine.
Clementine. Okay.
Did you taste? We haven't even tasted. Have you smelt clementine in it yet? Would you say?
Well, I've tasted
orangey?
it. I've tasted it.
Oh, you did taste it?
I don't know. Now I have to take another sip to see.
Okay, go on, try then.
Let me try.
it. I haven't tasted yet.
Let me try.
Let me try. Let me have a taste.
I feel like I actually do taste a little bit of orange. Clementine.
It's a good palate cleanser. I don't.
You don't?
I don't taste it
I feel like I do a little bit.
I taste one of these things in here though.
Okay, so the only things that I feel like I could smell when I was grinding it up is that the right term? Grinding it up?
Grinding, yeah.
Okay.
That's what we talk about on it. 2 times the grind.
Whatever. It was fruity, very light, which makes sense because it's a light roast, and some kind of nut,
yeah, you're right, hazelnut.
Okay.
And fig, which I guess gives like a sweetness, which I do taste, but we have the sugar in.
I was gonna say, I feel like I taste the fig.
But I can smell a little bit of sweetness in there, if that makes any sense to anybody out there. I'll tell you what, the description: a sweet and balanced blend of seasonal coffees named in honor of our first neighborhood cafe. Love it, Queen Anne.
I'm proud of myself for that one.
Yeah, you crushed that. High five. Love it. There is a full story about the this coffee bean and where it came from and why it is so special, but it is from Seattle, and if you guys do fancy reading that, we put that in the description below in the coffee section. But Dashy, big shout out to you. Really, 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 honestly, delicious coffee. That is delicious.
I feel like you can just tell when it's a light roast.
Yeah, you can.
Like
it hasn't
the smell of the coffee, you could just, because I didn't read like full
the smell to you.
Yeah, like the full.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
full
about.
Disclosure.
The smell of light coffee, I swear, is a lot sweeter.
Because you can tell everyone, I did not read this at all. I just literally poured it and because I didn't want to know, and I could just tell. You could just tell it was a light roast.
We're becoming pros over here. But I tell you what, talking about pros, Call of Duty pros. Look, that segue.
Good transition.
Just the host.
Like you almost do this for a living.
It's like I do it, isn't it? Weird. Need to get in that ASAP. So folks, if you are brand new and joining us here, I am Lottie. This is PJ. I'm the host of Call of Duty League, and PJ is a pro Halo player, but does know an awful lot about Call of Duty and most first-person shooter games. So we're going to talk about the first major that we've just had in our Call of Duty League season. And boy, what a major it was. It really was. I mean, first of all, I've got to just get this out here, folks. You all know what I'm about to say, but pick'ems, my God, the bracket, it was chalked.
I love how serious all of the casters take the pick'ems.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because they are literally devastated.
You should have heard myself and Study in our green room. We have a green room. So when we're off broadcast, we all listen and watch together in a green room. not in person, obviously, online. And we were screaming. Me and Stud were absolutely screaming for NYSL, loads of different ones, depending on what our bracket was saying. I lost my voice. I had to stop. I was like, look, I've got a job to do here. If I lose my voice, I'm chalked. Not just my bracket.
Miles posted something. Someone posted you guys like pick'ems. Do you know the tweet I'm gonna talk about?
Yeah.
You guys probably know who Miles is if you're here. Like literally one of the funniest.
Shout out Miles, boy.
Literally one of the funniest people I've met in my life.
It's brilliant.
He picked like I think it was like day 2 or day 3 of the major, and they posted your pick'ems, and he picked like the underdog on every single series.
Oh my god!
And someone like replied to it with like question marks to Miles, and he just replied because of how bad the beginning of his bracket went. He just replied with something like, what do I have to lose? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have nothing.
Very true. He, it was quite sad. It was quite a sad couple of days for him, actually. He kept coming in going, guys, it's awful. I've got nothing. I've got nothing here. I've got no points. And we were like, no points. Yeah. It was like day 3. We were like, what? He's like, yeah, nothing. Got nothing.
It's tough.
Miles, bless him. He wants to give the underdogs a good story. He roots for the storylines. Just didn't happen. On certain days.
Yeah.
However, some of the days were wild. I've never seen anything like it. You really, not just about the bracket and not being able to obviously adjust every single day, but the fact that you just couldn't have guessed what would have happened, like, especially with the series counts and stuff.
A little bit, Series counts. First major, you don't know where people are 100% at,
I feel like we should start from the beginning of the shockers.
Okay.
I mean, there were so many that, we can't really dive into all of them, but I'm just going to take the ones at the forefront of my mind. And one of those was OpTic. And for me, that was a reason because I had them to win the major. For a number of reasons, some broadcasting reasons for sure too, but the fact that they looked formidable, and coming into the major, the first day especially, they had it on lock. Their S&D had improved so much. Their respawn had improved, which was a bit of a shock to me, in terms of the time that was in between them having to improve this stuff. The fact that they had improved in S&D and their respawn games was pretty impressive.
I'd say they took a hit on their hard point.
Would you?
Yeah.
Would you? I was impressed with their hard point at the beginning.
The beginning of the year? The beginning of the Super Week?
Of the major. Of the major, the first game.
They just, from the Super Week into the major, they just, I don't know. Something just like wasn't 100% clicking. I feel like, actually,
really?
No, sorry. Let me say that again. Super Week, I got concerned about their hard point. I think I talked about that, about being like, it was kind of weird seeing them not take game 1s, but they won the Search and Destroy, so that's good. They did fine. The beginning of the bracket, they 3-0'd NYSL.
Yeah.
Who else did they beat? They beat like, I'm trying to think. Who's their first matchup?
They played New York first because it was the storyline of like this whole grudge match that started evolving as well. Because during this major, we literally started to see this revenge match happening. This almost like a rivalry. Now, talking about rivalries that we talked about last week, and how they just form on their own, this legit formed on its own. Yeah. This rivalry out of nowhere during this major started forming because Chicago 3-0'd NYSL in the first point of the major in their winners bracket, and then suddenly a fire was lit in Clayster's belly that couldn't be put out.
I need to go back on what I said slightly, because they did start the major great. Right. They 3-0'd NYSL.
Exactly. My
kind
point.
of what you said. They looked great against NYSL.
Good.
The respawn looked good. They beat NYSL and S&D. You're like, okay, it's good. They go up against Dallas. They lose game 1, and I'm just like, what? Like, how and why? I get it.
Again,
because
to
Dallas,
the point of like, you can't predict anything.
I don't want to say how and why, because that sounds harsh to Dallas, but OpTic's respawns, aka hardpoint, and control specifically, looks so good.
Do you think that's something to do with the team they're playing? Like, for example, is it just like what OpTic are doing for themselves and the way that they're playing their respawn just didn't work against Empire?
Yeah, I think that top teams just know how to...
Rather than there's any mistakes in their actual gameplay, or...
Yeah, I just think top teams can flip games way easier. OpTic against a team not in the top 4, you expect them to beat anyone on hardpoint, period. You go up against Dallas, they lose a hard point. That's why I said I'm being harsh, because I do understand them losing a hard point. I don't know who picked the map. I don't know anything to do with that.
Yeah.
But I feel like them having that rough start of losing the hard point, though, I'm like, oh no, that's not good. But then they win game 2. obviously. And I'm like, oh, okay. But
Which is the S&D.
which is the S&D, obviously. So credit to them. And then they go all the way to round 11, game 5. Dallas just looked so lackluster heading into the major, which is why I was so shocked, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Dallas didn't look great heading into it. OpTic steamrolls NYSL to begin with. I really thought we were going to get a winner's bracket of Faze versus OpTic again. Again, being their league match, obviously.
I thought so too. I really did. And that's kind of like what I was bagging my chips on. And I really did that from the end of Super Week and like how they performed and their attitude. And I just thought it was good until you then watch their content, which again, big shout out, their content's awesome. It's a really cool sneak peek and insight, but I do feel like they're a very jokey team.
Yeah.
And this is something we talked about last week with you. Never give anyone another reason to want to beat you.
Yeah.
Because I think that's exactly what happened with New York Subliners. What do you make of, really honestly, what happened, that turner, that 360 with New York Subliners and how they performed coming out against OpTic a second time?
So I think that there's two things that go into it, really, for me. First one being just the momentum shift. New York is coming off a reverse sweep to Florida, because Florida was up 2-0 against NYSL. New York reverse sweeps them, and then OpTic comes off a devastating loss, like probably should have won round 11 versus Empire, so maybe they're feeling a little bit down, kind of. So heading into the match, I'd give NYSL the momentum, but I still thought OpTic's the better team here. And then kind of like we talked about, there was some beef, I guess, in the early stage of the season with OpTic, a piece of OpTic content that they did, which they always do. And
which was that that was classifying everybody, the power rankings?
Yeah, they were ranking like players and teams.
Right?
Okay, so they ranked, I think it was like Dashy specifically.
Yeah, it was Dashy.
Ranked Clayster C. And Clay, jokingly, because he did it started out as a joke.
Yeah.
Dashy ranked him C. The whole thing is very sarcastic. I don't think anyone takes it super serious. Like, they're just having a good time making content.
Like, power rankings are very tough anyway, regardless.
Exactly.
But yeah.
So Clayster, I think he was like joking but not joking kind of thing. He tweeted him and said, like, you really put me in C, dog? Like, he said, you really put me in C? Like, haven't I been owning you the past 2 years? And then Dashy just replied with Clay's message of Clay saying, I'm just joking around. Like, I'm farming impressions. I'm just joking around.
Yeah, the text.
But then.
Or was it a DM?
It was a DM. But then Trey, shout out Trey. We're friends with Trey.
Yeah.
He zero. He went and replied and said, "That's crazy. Like, you're scared of Dashy," and like, everyone knows how Clay is. Yeah. He basically said, "Why?" Something along the lines of like, "Why would I be afraid?" Yada yada. And then Dashy said, like, "Gonna be interesting to see what you can do without." Zio being like Hugh, Shotzi, Illy, or the Tiny Terrors, or whatever he said.
Obviously back on the E-United days, when they did get a world championship as well with E-United CWL. So, like, it's just fighting fire with fire,
Clay
isn't
just
it?
he went chirping. As soon as they threw out him in losers bracket, the tweets started flowing.
But that's the thing though, like, Clay is like that, and it's entertaining. I quite enjoy watching all of this unfold. Like, who doesn't? Come on, let's be honest. But the thing is, I feel like OpTic really gave them fuel to come out and really play against them. And I think, look, being confident doesn't win you series all the time. Like, that's not exactly what it comes up down to ever, really. It does help. It does definitely help. And you obviously need the talent, the skill, and the team dynamic to be there. But you do question what on earth happened when an NYSL team that Clay has already kind of said is really still trying to understand each other. Under practice. They are months behind everybody else, and there's still things that they are majorly working on, like fundamentals. And the fact that they're able to come out to a OpTic who really contest as a fully formed, fully fledged, fully operating team in the Call of Duty League.
They're meant to be the team.
And they 3-0'd one of the top teams. And not only that, the biggest fan base team too. Pretty impressive.
It's shocking, especially in a 3-0 fashion. There's like a momentum shift for sure. OpTic, I think after losing Empire, I think they might have gotten their own heads a little bit, like just kind of down on themselves. But, oh man, it's tough because...
Or complacent. What about that? Because you know I remember Formal literally saying in the round table section, I don't know if it even was the round table section, but it was in the pre-show, OpTic pre-show, when they, you know, Hex throws to the boys. He literally said, NYSL, but we got that. No worries. Like, he was so, like, nonchalant about it. And I think that came across in their gameplay, the complacency. It's tricky. You've got it. You can't count anyone out.
It could have been a little bit of like they were overlooking them kind of thing for sure. Obviously, that's kind of like based on the comments, you kind of think that, but they're just like such good competitors where I wouldn't necessarily think that's 100% what happened. I think that they just got outplayed. I think that they just didn't have momentum going for them. NYSL clearly on fire. And there's just people, and I said this in whatever the last episode, I think it was the last episode, just don't give people a reason to beat you. Like, and especially specific people. Like, like the one thing I respect about Clay, and I like this about a lot of the guys, like even the OpTic guys. Like, I think Formal does a great job. I think Scump does a great job. Like, they'll talk trash, but then they take it. Like, when they mess up and they lose, like, they take it. You know, like, and Formal's always been a pro at it. Scump's always been a pro at it. And Clay, same thing with Clayster. But Clay is like, bro, he's crazy. I'm not joking. Like, how hyped and like
stuff.
Motivated he gets is like, I'm like, dude, chill.
Yeah.
You know? And that's like coming from me, who has the same ambition of like wanting to win, right? But he's like over the top in the best way. So yeah, he starts popping off obviously after they won.
Yeah. And
fans were going at him because they were like, where was this energy? Where were these comments when OpTic 3-0'd you? And it's like, I get it, because Dashy, it was to Dashy specifically.
Well, the comments aren't there because what is he going to say?
Yeah.
Like,
they lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he doesn't say anything.
The comments are not there because he didn't win.
Yeah.
So
Dashy
why would he say anything?
When they beat him in the winners bracket, Dashy could have said something, and Clay couldn't reply.
I feel like you have to have some kind of respect as well. If you get beaten that badly, like, why would you reply with any kind of controversial?
Well, because people are like
stuff.
Yeah, people are like acting like he shouldn't say anything because they lost in the winners bracket. No. But the reality is, it's a 2 bracket tournament, and when they played in losers bracket, loser goes home. And that's the story. The story isn't you beat him in the winners bracket. Isn't it? The story is you got knocked out.
Yeah.
I love OG. Like, I do.
Same,
you know,
same.
so I'm not.
I love all of the teams.
I'm not roasting anyone. People, you know, and I'm not even like going at like Dashy when I say stuff like that. It's just like more of a fan thing. Like, players are going to talk their trash, especially when they're motivated to win. And then like people like feed into it too much. So many of the OpTic fans who I love, you know, I was a part of the green wall one day, you know, I helped. There's an OpTic chair behind me. There's a ring behind me. Or the OpTic Turtle Beach.
People have been
over
rinsing
there.
Me in the comments for not having Astros up.
Astro.
But those are Turtle Beach's OpTic.
Those are the one we won Worlds with.
Yep. Those are special.
We weren't wearing them, but they were like what we're supposed to wear technically.
Yeah. And we're not on the Call of Duty League broadcast right now either. So.
But the fans were like going at Clay, like just being like, you know, you're overrated, you know, yada yada yada. It's like, dude, you get to a point in your career with these guys where you just can't say anything. You just gotta kind of like let them go off. And it's just, I feel the same way about Formal. I feel the same way about Scump, Crim6. Like, if one of those guys say something to the other guy, to someone else, like they win and they trash talk, what are you gonna say back? You know what I mean? Like the fan, no, but like the fans, I get like defending your team, but at some point you gotta just be like, yeah, he got us there, and then you just gotta hope that they win the next one. You know?
Yeah. I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So I want to come full circle because I feel like
someone called Clay overrated.
Wait, who?
Just a random fan. I just looked on it, and someone called Clay overrated, and he's won back-to-back world championships. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like,
what, 3? No.
Well, he's won 3.
He's won 3 in total.
He's won 3 total, and then 2. One in Black Ops 4 with United, and then 1 with Dallas Empire. And someone's like calling him overrated, and he's getting carried.
How is that overrated?
Oh my god.
Carried. The dude's ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, he definitely proved that this major.
He was what
really
happens is he reads that.
Yeah.
And it's like,
okay.
Let me show you something else then here.
I think
you know,
he feeds off negativity, in a positive way, which is actually very hard to do. And I also appreciate how he just blocks people who
a lot of top players do that. I mean, you see that through athletes across the world. It's like you You have a chip on your shoulder, don't you?
Yeah,
what was
definitely.
What was the question?
My question was full circle from what we've spoken about previously, because obviously, you know, a lot of what we've spoken about so far in our podcast journey has led up to this major. I want to talk about a rookie in particular that I am beyond impressed with in many different areas, and that's Diamondcon. First of all, the interview he gave was precious. I don't mean to be like, like being like, oh, you're so cute, you're a kid. He, he's a fantastic player. But I just thought his interview, first of all, 20? I'm not sure.
I think he's pretty young.
Yeah, I think he is pretty young.
Yeah.
But like his interview was super wholesome. I love that we managed to get to see a bit of his personality, and he is so humble.
Yeah.
And like he seems very loyal to his team, and I love that. And I think that's such a good thing for a teammate to have, and especially with his, his talent, the way he can play is unbelievable.
He had one of the best series against OpTic. I think I was talking to Frosty about it, and Frosty said it was like one of the best individual performances he's seen.
He was insane.
Yeah.
He was insane. It's like I was obviously watching for my pick'ems, and I was like, OpTic, oh my god, what are you doing? There is a part of me broadcaster wise that's just like, Diamondcon, go off, let's go, like love it.
It's a win-win.
It is a win-win for me anyway, but my pick'ems just suffer, and it's fine because I kind of accepted that at the beginning. Anyway, enough about pick'ems. I'm very salty, but he was getting kills that I just couldn't believe, like the way that he was moving on the map, the decisions he was making, the plays he was making was so good, and he wasn't losing a gunfight. And it was so impressive to see that against some of the best gunnies we got in the tournament. I mean, this kid was insane, and the crucial kills he pulled for his team won them like 2 games in that 3-0. Like I'm genuinely serious. 2 of those games came down to Diamondcon and the turnaround and kills that he was producing. I was blown away. Like honestly, I'm so impressed, and I would not be surprised if he goes strength to strength during this entire season, because if he's playing like that in his first major, in his first year, his rookie year, dude.
Yeah.
Diamond in the rough right there. Bang.
So what's the question?
Oh, yeah. The question is, what did you think of him?
That's the question?
Yeah. Basically,
you just gassed him up.
It's just a discussion, man.
I know.
Like, I just want you to like talk to me about a rookie. What did you notice about him? Because we talked about having these rookies in the league and who to keep an eye on. And really, I feel like they're just emerging before us, and you can't really even debate it.
Yeah. No, I think he had one of the best individual performances we've seen. Yeah. I feel like, especially doing that against OpTic so early in the season is going to do wonders for him, his confidence, how he feels about himself, how he feels about his team, which is a big part of it. So I think it's great to see these young guys coming into the scene and just shaking things up early on, and not necessarily like knocking people down. Like I still look at OpTic and I'm like, that's a championship team, but it's so cool seeing like rookies come in and just go toe-to-toe with them, you know, and really put up a fight. Because for a while, in a lot of past games and stuff, you just see like steamroll, good final, and then now it's like, oh, NYSL is on fire, OpTic just lost to Empire, like, oh, now it's like, this can be a good match, and that's for 4th, the loser gets 4th, and really you could say that about everybody, like across every match that we really saw. NYSL goes on to get 3rd. Florida's up 2-0 on NYSL. It's like Florida could have went and got 3rd. Like, so, but for him specifically, to go back to your point, it was an incredible performance. I think that stuff like that is going to like make a career. Yeah. Because he's a little bit of an unknown. NYSL is not necessarily like playing into it because it's a valid, we don't have that much practice card, obviously. And he goes in, does that, they do that, and it's just...
Yeah. Do you think Shotzi made an impact like that early on in his rookie season?
For Call of Duty?
Yeah. I know obviously different games, different number of people
Halo,
on the field
for
as
Halo,
well.
I'd say no, but Halo, he just was so...
in terms of college.
Yeah, so Halo, he was so young where he was still learning, and then fast forward to Call of Duty, he really did. He had a really, I don't know what happened. Like, you remember that first MW event, Minnesota? Mm-hmm. He had a really bad Minnesota. Yeah. But heading into it, everyone's like, this kid's the best player in the game. So he had a really bad first event, but then shocked everyone for the remainder. So even though he had a bad first event, he bounced back. His rookie year was exactly what you said. It was just outstanding. I mean, he won MVP, didn't he?
No, he did, but that's what I'm saying. Like, in comparison, obviously we can't compare them just yet.
Yeah.
Because we're only into like our first major and just completed stage 1. But like, is Diamondcon as impactful or more impactful or less than Shotzi was at this stage of his rookie year?
Yeah, so I think that it's tough to 100% say because NYSL is just going through such a growing process still. Dallas Empire were the best team for a good amount of MW, where Shotzi was like in that spotlight. Diamondcon doesn't necessarily get into that spotlight, and then on the flip side of that, Shotzi's like really known for his movement and like the plays he makes, you know, like he's always been regarded as that. Diamondcon, I feel like he just put up a great performance. I wouldn't say he's like known for anything, or like he's not like wowing you with these like ridiculous unorthodox things that are happening. You know, it's just like he just puts up numbers and is slaying and isn't missing, and you're like, oh wow, he might be one of the best players, you know.
Talking about best players, obviously can't contest it. Who won the major? We got Atlanta Faze taking that in a very dominant fashion. You did call it. And I think that's our next matchups to talk about, because really there's only really right now for us in terms of time wise to talk about certain things, but 4 teams for us really cover quite a large majority of a storyline, especially coming through to the end of the major. And Dallas and Atlanta met twice, just like OpTic and NYSL. And both times, rather than being too different, they're pretty samey, but in quite an epic way. So Atlanta Faze faces Dallas Empire, and it was a sweep.
That's so tough to say.
It was a sweep.
Atlanta Faze faces Empire.
I know. Faces
You're a
Dallas
pro.
Empire. Thank you very much. You know, it was a sweep.
Yeah.
And it was very strange because Empire looked so strong right from the start of, you know, this season, to be honest. And I thought they'd really turn up for this major.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody could have anticipated how well prepared and talented Atlanta Faze were going to be at this stage this season, to the point where it literally was uncontested. Atlanta Faze wiped the floor with everybody, and including Dallas Empire, who should have been probably their hardest matchup, even over OpTic Faze. Even over OpTic Chicago.
Yeah.
Don't even know what I'm saying right now.
It's been a long week.
This coffee hits different, man. It's got me wired. But if you know what I'm saying, I think in terms of just the way things are situated, you'd have thought Empire would be their biggest competition. And it seemed like a scrim. It seemed like a scrim where Dallas Empire's controllers weren't working properly.
They're going for assassinations.
We'll get to that part. But looking at the way that they handled Empire at the beginning, the 3-0, what were you really expecting from this Atlanta Faze team?
I didn't think anyone was going to touch them.
Yeah.
I really didn't. I thought there's obviously the chance, you know, but they went undefeated in the season matches or league matches. And I just had that like MW vibe where they're the best team. I don't think anyone's going to beat them. And I thought the only team, like, I think OpTic has a better chance in the beginning of the season, like currently. I feel like OpTic had a better chance at beating them because I feel like they can go a little bit more toe-to-toe and respawn with them.
Yeah.
But I just thought FaZe was the best team. And heading into it, I thought that they were, and then they proved it. And it's kind of what I thought was going to happen. I was hoping for it to be closer, don't get me wrong, but they're just... What do? You got Simp and Abizi running around on you. Just, you know, it really gives me the same vibe as early MW.
Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of like, okay, they won the first one again. Where are we going from here? And that's the tough part. You know, you can be the best early on, but you want to be the best come champs time. Not saying that they can't, because obviously they can.
Yeah.
But credit to them, they were the best team for the first major.
I think miles ahead too.
Yeah.
Miles ahead at that major. Moving on to, of course, what was our best of 9 final, which didn't go anywhere near the best of 9 mark. And credit to Atlanta Faze for that. It was very, very impressive. You know, there's a couple things that come to mind really when I think about this. And I really look at the 3-0 against Dallas at the beginning and this best of 9 kind of as a pair, because it really was a very similar story for both series. Now, Atlanta Faze, obviously, I think, anyway, best signing of the year, bringing on Arcities. Best signing possible. Didn't think that team could get any stronger. Looking at Faze, especially from last season, and obviously having to drop somebody, but bringing on Arcities in replacement of two of their teammates.
You didn't think they could get better after last year?
I didn't think their squad could get better.
Yeah.
You know, obviously they didn't round out with a win.
Yeah.
They didn't round out with the championship. They can get better in terms of their play style and their strats and stuff, but I just didn't think their squad could get better. I think they could have built upon it.
Yeah.
But bringing on Arcities was the best decision they've ever made. And it makes complete sense. And I think you can't really deny that looking at the result of this major.
100%.
And looking at how that's now formed, I also think that their coach, Crowder, has a huge part to play in what we saw unfold in this major. And I'll tell you why. Their gameplay and their play style was so clean and so like the formation that they were running was perfect.
Yeah.
Looking at their respawns, in particular hardpoint, their hardpoint was flawless. Their rotations were perfect. They were a step ahead every single time. And they were able to do that because of their talent with, you know, the kills that they were getting, the gunfights that they were winning. It was brilliant.
They make it look so easy.
They made it look so easy,
like by the
like
book,
clockwork.
you know?
And really, I want to discuss with you is the coaching. I know it's very different in Halo, and coaching in Halo usually is down to timings. It's very different for COD.
Yeah.
We don't have that kind of situation in COD with timings. But how much of a role do you think Crowder, right now, in terms of miles ahead of everyone else that Faze are, how much do you think he really had to play in really like gunning home the strats, gunning home the VODs? Because I did hear that a lot in the interviews.
Yeah. I think that if they're saying a lot in the interviews, then give them credit where credit's due. Because I think that the interesting part of coaches in the CDL, and I like that players are talking about it a lot more. I know Clayster put out a tweet about it, you know, the way you said Phaser talking about in interviews. You just don't 100% know. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but like, it's just kind of like low-key work, isn't it? Like the coaches, you don't hear what they're saying unless you're streaming the scrims, and you can hear like Sender, for example, over on OpTic, you hear what he's saying. But like, you know, it's what you're saying with Crowder, you don't hear him because they don't stream. But I mean, credit to them. They looked textbook. I imagine the coaching staff, the analyst, all the guys there, I think that the one thing that they do really well, and this is where you can give him credit because he's such an experienced world champion in his own right. I think that he brings probably a lot of maturity to a young squad. Simp and Abizi are like way above their years. I don't know Celium as much because he's a little bit more on the quiet side, I feel like. But, they, you know, they're just on point. So credit to the coaching staff, credit to the analysts, you know, anyone that they have working within the organization. They come ready to play, you know?
Yeah.
In every game mode.
It was, and I love what you said, textbook. It really was textbook, and I think that textbook came from James, from Crowder. I think Crowder really did, you know, bring it to all of the teams in terms of the superiority of the strats and the plans that they were bringing to their respawns, their S&D. Their S&D was smart. I remember watching them on S&D and thinking, wow, like their level of readability, like them reading the other team was perfect. The stuff that they were doing, the fact that they were wrapping around and able to get behind teams constantly, they were always at the back. It was like a shadow. Faze were a shadow at the major. Like, don't turn around. Oops, Simp's there. Like, it was terrifying.
What did they say in the interview about Crowder?
Well, you know, it wasn't really so specifically about Crowder in the interview, but Arcities, he really talked about VODs. I asked him how he was going to prepare. This was back when they 3-0 Dallas the first time.
Okay.
When I was doing the interviews, and Alec really, Arcities, spoke about how they're going to go prepare, and that was something that they did constantly. It's like they would go watch VODs, watch over and over and over again on the specific team that they were going to go play. And I think that is why, you know, not only are they are playing their game, but they have the other team's game too in their head. So they know how to play their game around theirs and stop anything that they're doing, shut it down. And it was great. The counters were perfect. And I'm interested to see where they go from here, because now they have this milestone. They are miles ahead. It wasn't a close game by any means in that finals. I'm interested to know where they go from here. Do you think they can get better than that?
I think that they can get better. This is the hard part when you are the best team early on in the game. Everyone,
last season,
they were. Everyone, for the most part, is playing catch up to you, and you can't really. I don't want to say you can't improve, because there's small stuff you can improve on, but it's way harder to stay at the top when you're at the top, if that makes any sense. Like go back
makes
to
perfect
go,
sense.
go back to 2016. We were like, I'll reference Halo for anyone watching Halo. We're like 13-0ing everyone in scrims. There's only small minor things that we were taking like out of every single scrim or practice that we were having because we were beating everyone so bad. So you know, the margin of error is so small in your own gameplay. Like, how do you continue to improve on that, right? Whereas other people are like counter-stratting you, learning from you, and you know, that's where the balance is really hard. They, like I kind of already said, they have a great coaching staff. They have analysts. You know, those guys are so level-headed where I think they're going to keep working really hard. And that's how you stay at the top so long, is by just being level-headed and being like, I want to keep winning.
Yeah.
Because when you get complacent, that's when they catch up quicker. So I think that they can get better, but I mean, what are we talking? Like, not drop a game the whole tournament, you know? That's what I mean. That's what you're saying.
You've got to set goals, haven't you? But
Yeah.
I think the goals for them now is to stay on top of your game. This has happened to you before in a different season, in a different game, different team, as some, you know, to dynamic wise. And, you know, it's tough because you don't want to repeat. You don't want that nightmare to happen again where you get ahead. Yeah. Really far ahead like you did last season, and suddenly everyone's caught up to you, and now it's too late and you can't quite take that victory anymore.
They want to win champs.
Of course they do.
And that's why they made the team change of going to get Arcities, because
great AR
they improved without a doubt. And no offense to the other guys, no offense to Priesta, Major
that's
Maniac.
what I'm saying. But I didn't think it could get better.
Yeah, but it could because Arcities has been one of the best ARs for years now. And Major Maniac, incredible player, won a lot of championships now, but who do you pick between the two? Like, I'd pick Arcities.
This is very controversial.
And they won with Arcities before. They won a championship
definitely.
with them. So.
And so, like, the chemistry's there. This is quite controversial, but I'd love to know what you think about this. Chicago had Arcities.
Yeah.
Should they have let him go?
I don't. It wasn't
big one.
It wasn't really like up to them.
I know, but like, could they have done something? Like, if, for example, we don't know the ins and outs of it, but like, just hypothetically, should they have let him go?
Yeah, because they, Formal's main AR, Arcities is main AR.
I know, but Dashy, Arcities and Dashy.
I know.
It's hard, isn't it?
You probably, like, for Chicago's style, like, you probably want Dashy. Yeah. And on the same side of that, Arcities wanted to go to Faze because he thought that's the thing. Right. No, so basically what you're saying is, like, and this is where it gets tough in esports, because it's like, should you hold an incredible player because you don't want them to go to another team and beat you?
It could be even better because of how it works. The dynamic of this Faze team right now is working so well. They love each other as well. That's another thing. And that is dangerous in itself.
I think it's just tough. Hex does an awesome job with OpTic, and his motto is like, if you don't want to be here, and I don't think it was Arcities being like stomping his feet, I don't want to be here. It was just, obviously, season came to an end. It was kind of like everyone slightly going their separate ways, trying to figure stuff out, and he had the opportunity to go team with people he's teamed with and won with before.
And people wanted Dashy on OpTic.
Yeah, and people, exactly. And the guys on OpTic wanted Dashy. So, you know, I mean,
Dashy's a fantastic. Like, let's be honest. I mean, Dashy's stats as well.
Keep in mind, OpTic went Game 5 with Faze when their SND was the worst we probably will see of them. So it's not like, you know, when Hex made the change and people asked him about it, I remember he just said, like, look, I want players to be happy. If you don't want to be here, I want you to be happy somewhere else. And he goes, I'm confident in our team that we're going to be able to win. And he goes, and if we're not, then what are we doing here, right? So you got to just respect that he wants other players to be happy no matter what. If there wasn't a spot for him, there wasn't a spot for him. And that's kind of what it came down to. They wanted Dashy. Arcities wanted out. What are you going to do, you know?
I think, obviously, you know, we're here to ask the hard questions. I think that is a difficult question to answer because it's tough. But, like, hey, look, it's fun to think about these things and think what would have happened. And let's be honest, it makes sense. Like, it's a hypothetical situation, but like, if he really wanted to be kind of the villain, the bad guy, like, that would have made sense too.
But you know, the one thing to look at it as well is, like, Arcities is incredible.
Oh yeah.
But they had him and they didn't they didn't
use
do amazing. Like, they did good. They were top 3.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, you know, that's what we're saying is not good.
Yeah.
But they got top 3 at champs.
Yeah.
So
it's just funny to see what a player can do in the right hands. I'm not saying that because OpTic Gaming is terrible, you know, not at all.
No.
Like, OpTic Chicago are great. They're a fantastic team.
they'll win. They'll win. They'll probably win one.
I mean, in the right hands, by where that player truly belongs and feels like they can be the best that they can possibly be.
Agreed.
Around the best people that are best for them. So it's a dynamic. It's a chemistry.
I think OpTic will probably win one.
That's why you have chemistry in FIFA. That's what happens.
The chemistry rating.
Yeah, we should have one in. We should have one in Call of Duty. To be honest, I think honestly that would work. I think this is a good segue into posing like a question, and again, not really a hypothetical, like you know, I think this is more opinion based again. But obviously, looking at the grand finals that we saw there to take our championship team to the win, Atlanta Faze, congratulations once again. You know, what makes a good game, I think, is a really good topic to discuss, because I hear this a lot, and I'm guilty of saying this too, but sometimes well, in the green room, us broadcasters will say, oh gosh, another sweep, another this, you know, oh my God, so boring, or whatever it is, you know, within reason. And we just want a game 5. And I think a lot of people love that back and forth, the on the edge of your seat, not sure what's going to happen, who's going to take it. Oh my gosh, it's going game 5, round 11. This is the best thing ever. It's all on this moment. And it's epic. It is epic. And the pressure, you can see the pressure, and the pressure builds on top of you too. You feel that coming through as a viewer. And it's exciting. It's what makes esports fun and electrifying, and, you know, what makes you want to root for a team, the team that can carry you to the win, or the team that loses, but next time they get it back. So it's these storylines. But like, is dominance that boring? Is a team absolutely dominating twice in a row over a team you just didn't expect them to? Is that boring? Or do you want to see a game 5? Do you want to see a game 9? Do you want it to go all the way? What makes a game a good game?
I think it just depends on what kind of fan you are at the end of the day. Like, some people want to watch a team just utterly dominate everyone, 6-0, 100-point club, and just like destroy the competition. And then other people are like, I want a game 9, round 11, SND, and like, that's good, you know, that's exciting. So I think it just comes down to like, what kind of fan are you? You know, like, and I don't mean that there's no negativity towards that. What kind of fan are you? But some people root for the underdog. Some people root for the favorite. And I think that how much you're going to enjoy the game or what you're looking for in the game just kind of comes down to that, you know, on what you want to see. That's why people like start rooting for the underdog, because it gets boring. It gets boring watching the same team win over and over and over again. But there's some people that might not even necessarily be, let's say Faze are going to keep winning. I don't know if they will, but we'll use the hypothetical. There are some people that are just going to like love the dynasty side of what the like Simp and Abizi are doing, where they're not going to find it boring. They're going to be like, I love watching these kids just run a terror on everyone, and that's exciting to me, you know? So I think it just depends on the fan you are, what you're looking for. I think Call of Duty game 5s are always like some of the most intense moments, so that's what a lot of people look for. What do you look for?
You know what, it really does vary. I mean, I don't mind a 3-0 when the 3-0 games are close. Yeah, I think that's really fun. Or I don't mind a 3-0 when a team comes out and 3-0 is a team I did not expect them to even beat,
like the underdog 3-0.
Yeah, I think that's really cool too, because you still are on the edge of your chair. Because of that, you're like, are they actually about to do this? Is this really gonna happen? And then I think at that point you want to know the answer as well. So I think there's a part of it that's like, oh my God, go on, you know, like, do it. And you want it to happen just for it to happen. So there is that. But then I do think, for me, it was exciting watching Atlanta Faze dominate in that way against Empire. But there was a part of me after that game 3 when they did win, you know, 2 maps. I was excited. I was like, reverse sweep. Is it going to happen? Like, could it happen? Like, even just a little bit of spice left in there. And it was exciting, because I feel like the first 3 games were just a repeat of what we'd seen, you know, the past series.
And then Dallas kind of like, Dallas wins one, and you're kind of like,
but what did get me excited was the potential for the assassination on Krim at the end. It's like, oh my gosh. And I interviewed a BZ and he talked to me about this assassination trying to happen. And he said it just got a little too out of hand where we were all like in a circle just trying so hard to just get this done, and it wasn't happening. And Arcities, being the big brother he is of this team, coming along and with a pistol, like, right, good night, gone.
It's like, I'm done with this.
We're done. We've won. That's like, I just want to go to bed. He's tired. It's a best of 9. So no, that was really fun and interesting, and they're having a bit of fun with it. And I think some people have differing opinions on that as well. I think people think, oh my God, that is just so immature. And some people think that's hilarious. That's really fun. But at the end of the day, it's entertainment. I like it. I think it's funny.
I like it too. I mean, like, if I was on the Dallas Empire, I wouldn't
like it. If you were Krim, do you see Krim's face? I think
Yeah.
he just understood though. I think Krim is that character. So I think he's like, yeah, of course they'd be doing this.
I think that, like, as a fan, you can't have one without the other. Like, if you don't want the domination side of it, like, okay, fair enough. But then, like, they're doing something that's going to, like, attempt to make the game more exciting. Like, you got to kind of be like, okay, like, that's cool, you know? But I don't know. I've always been the same way as, like, Arcities, like, end the game as fast as possible, please. Like, I can't do this. You remember 2018, we were running the last flag against Rec? Obviously, you hosted. That's why I'm saying it directly to you. And, you know, we were going and finishing the very last game of the last Halo 5 tournament. We had all 4 dead, flag at our base, and TJ was, like, not capping it.
I know.
I freaked out. I was like, TJ, please cap the flag, bro. Please cap the flag. And then he, like, waited, like, a second. I was like, all right, I'll do it. But it's because in my mind, I was like, something's going to go wrong. Something's going to happen. So I'm like Arcities.
Just get it done.
Just finish, please.
Just get it done. Like, just do it. Yeah.
Meanwhile, you got the little kids running around like, let's go. Let's assassinate them.
Loser. Yeah. I love it. No, I think there's a person on every team, but hey, I think that's what helps you to be level-headed and to be like, let's win first before we have fun. But it's hard because you want to have fun at the same time. Did you see Simp as well? Like, just like emptying his mags. Yeah,
shooting bodies. That's a whole different topic for another day.
Yeah, that was funny. And I love how it's just like pure camera on him too. I was like, oh my gosh.
I like watching people create their legacy. You know? You okay?
Yes.
I like watching people create their legacy.
Just choking like Dallas Empire.
Oh, that's mean.
Sorry.
They didn't choke.
I'm just joking. Well, a little.
Oh yeah, that's true. They did actually against. Yeah. Anyway, I like watching people create their legacy in like a champs or something. I think I'm like, ooh, I want to see a really close final. Something like what happened this past weekend. I like seeing people like Simp and Appeasy just like show like we're still one of the best. And I don't think that everyone 100% likes that, but as a competitor from another game, I do. I'm just like I sometimes like just watching the best team just be the best.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was just, for some reason, I was in my own world then thinking about choking, and I was thinking about games, and I just remembered a certain moment from the NYSL Dallas Empire game when Dallas knocked NYSL out of the competition. You know, after the OpTic match on NYSL, you'd think, oh, they were fired up. They weren't exactly fired up to beat Empire, but I just remember it coming down again at one point to a 1v1 with Clay and Krim. And Krim is on the wing of Checkmate, and he just tried
disrespecting him.
He leaps off. I was like,
real
what
quick,
on earth?
He did that back in Black Ops 2. He did the exact same play where he just literally like jumps off a banister and like, I don't want to say like world star, but like just like, you know, does some crazy like 1v1 challenge. And I think Clay tweeted it and was like what? Like, what was Krim's trying to disrespect the shit out of me? Are you kidding me? And then he's like, what Krim was trying to do? And Krim replied, be like, he said, what was Crimsic thinking? And I can't really say it because it's Krim on Twitter, you know, but he said something like, I was thinking, hold my, with like, and like, you know, and then it was like, ... Oh shit, next round, boys. Like something like that's what he said. Like jumping up, hold my, and then he's like, oh, next round,
I love
boys.
it. Yeah. Oh my god, so good, so good. Anyway, off topic, but I couldn't help it. Just thinking about it. You know what? I would love to talk about though. We'll veer away from Call of Duty League. Fantastic stuff. Epic Major.
I can't wait for the next one. already.
Me too. And the road begins next week.
Yeah.
We begin stage 2. We've got a group selection as well. The first and second seeded teams get to have their first say of that. And it's the snake format as well. Shout out Snakebite. Love it. Snake format. But yes, that'll be really, really exciting. We'll have more to talk about, I'm sure, next week about what we think heading into that. But I tell you what, I want to talk a bit about Halo. We missed Halo last week, just because, you know, obviously the tournaments are occurring and it is still happening. And, you know, obviously 2 second places for you again this week. I'm sorry about that.
Third.
Oh, you got a third yesterday. Was it third yesterday?
A third and a second.
Third and a second.
Third, fourth. There's no conso, but third, fourth, yeah.
And I know, like, don't love discussing losses, but I think another thing to talk about there is...
Oh, we won. We won last week. We didn't talk about it. We won last week. Yeah. Then we got third, fourth, and then in the Halo 3 thing, we got second. Yeah.
And I think, obviously, this is like a difficult subject to talk about, but I think for you guys, it's, you know, you're doing the same thing every single week, and it's kind of quite repetitive.
Yeah.
So I know
I don't think it's difficult.
We don't want to talk about it negatively, so it's just not really point in talking too much about the tournament.
It's difficult in that sense. Yeah.
Okay, but I think what we should talk about is something we're really looking forward to, which is Infinite, and obviously that's something that we dream about all the time and think about what could be coming our way. Just please, Infinite, just on the ceiling, in the bedroom.
Soon, please.
Soon, please, coming soon. But something that I would like to discuss, excuse me, my English is just going to absolute pot now. It has been a long week. Is Infinite and a potential BR. Now, this is not like, I'm not saying there is going to be a BR. There is a potential BR. It's just hypothetically, if there was a BR, that would be awesome. And I think the reason that's come up is because obviously a few people have been tweeting about it.
For clarification, she's saying Battle Royale, not BR as in the weapon.
Yes, sorry, Battle Royale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most people know, but just clarification.
Battle Royale game. And I think really the reason why, you know, this is quite a hot topic right now is because it's something that we've seen as of recent, you know, really in the last 3 years, 4 years, is that Battle Royales are
booming.
And not only that, but they're really making the FPS game themselves, even the multiplayer, really get popular. And as like an inclusive thing, it's something that is really bringing new players in, it's bringing new attention to the game, and it really helps the kind of like the catapult of this game's popularity.
It helps like the content side.
Yes.
Very large, significant, you know?
It just gives a wide
just helps the game
soar
to the top.
It does. So first of all, I think this is something that I think you should talk about a lot, and I'll really take a role of asking you is, you know, Infinite Battle Royale potential. Why do you think it's super important to have it first of all?
Because look at all the people that are asking for a Battle Royale. You have Dr. Disrespect, Ninja, Nick Merckx, Courage, like all guys like incredible streamers, incredible content creators. They want a Halo Battle Royale, and it's that simple. And it's like I understand.
Simple. People make one.
Yeah, no, but like you say it jokingly.
No, I know.
But literally, because the reality of it is, people are gonna be like, you know, you're just gonna make a Battle Royale because those guys want it, and it's like, yeah, you are, because like. Content creation now drives.
I want it.
I do too, and I mean, I'm not pulling 20K viewers by any means, but content creation plays such a massive part into a game being successful. And if you don't want to acknowledge that, I don't know what to tell you, but it's 100% a fact. The longevity of a game with a Battle Royale is 100% better than just releasing only a Halo Infinite multiplayer, and the possibilities with the Battle Royale. It's just endless. And
yeah. Oh, man. And I think for Halo as well, and you know what Halo is, the world, the universe, it is so stunning.
Yeah.
That game also as a battle royale could be so beautiful.
Yeah.
And so aesthetically pleasing, like, and it would be so different too.
Yeah.
It'd be so different from any battle royale we've had ever before. And you can keep it, you know, really still in the lore of Halo and really bring that across in the storylines. I feel like that would get more people involved in the story of Halo and why it's so beautiful and why you should fall in love with it. And not only that, but from the teaser trailer that we saw from Infinite, there is an open world aspect. So I think really...
Did you see the one of the drop pod?
Yes.
That they tweeted, and Nick Merckx was like, like, stop teasing me.
Yeah,
you know?
I know. And it's like, this could work.
Yeah.
Like, you already have like some kind of fundamental to do this. Like, please,
The
I beg.
the problem with it, with why people, there's a core group of Halo players that don't want it. And they don't want it because they don't want things taken away from the campaign.
Interesting.
They don't want things taken away from the campaign. They don't want things taken away from the multiplayer.
How would things being taken away just by adding something new for new people? Other interests.
People think
you can still play the campaign.
Right. I mean, it's just kind of logic, you know?
Yeah.
If you don't like Battle Royale...
we mean no offense by this. It's just our opinion.
If you don't like the Battle Royale, don't play the Battle Royale.
Yeah.
But people... Basically, the concern is, like, because they make the Battle Royale, that's going to be what draws in the most people, which then is going to get the most attention. And I understand that side of it. I'm not sitting there being like 343 should only focus on the Battle Royale, because clearly that's not... There's a whole multiplayer side that they need to focus on, and they really need to work on, right? But they need to do both, because that's what games are doing now. Games have Battle Royales, the multiplayer. It's Call of Duty, Warzone, one of the most successful Battle Royales, period. I can't think of the numbers off the top of my head, but in terms of microtransactions, the amount of money that Activision has brought in through Warzone being so successful, crazy. Yeah. And it makes the possibilities for esports and even just them being able to hire more people to work on the game even better.
It produces a new focus on that game. It produces a new warranty to bring people to that game, to focus on it, to keep it going. Okay, this is tough to say, but there's a lot riding on Infinite. Yeah. This game has been needed and wanted and requested for such a long time.
It's been 6 years.
Yeah. So to say there is pressure for Halo right now is literally not doing it justice. There is a beyond amount of pressure on the shoulders of Halo right now in 343. Not even just that, HCS, the way that things are going to be handled competitively, the campaign, what is going to be produced, because not only was there pressure just coming into it, but then COVID hit. There was a new added pressure where the game was then delayed. So there's even more going on here behind the scenes and under the surface that people I just don't think understand. And you need this to succeed. We all want this to succeed. No one wants this to go down the drain. Yeah. I think a Battle Royale would help that.
You should want every game to be successful.
Yeah. Yeah. But why would you not want to bring new players into esport? Why would you not want to bring new players into your game?
It's just a weird... I'm not trying to be... I don't want to be mean to anyone, so if this offends you, I'm sorry. People are just weird about trying to, like, keep stuff away from people.
But why?
People are like, I love Halo and don't want them following the trend of Battle Royales. And it's like, you know... Okay, I get it. You don't want them to follow the trend, but it's like, do you see what's happening? Yeah. You know, like how do you not look at the decline of player population in the game you love? It should be the reverse effect. If like a top content creator like these guys or like a Battle Royale would bring this thing back. If you love Halo, like actually love Halo, you should want it to succeed. And if you believe in the multiplayer that much, and you believe in the campaign that much, a Battle Royale is bringing people in, way more people in, to play that multiplayer and campaign. And guess what? If you make all three
and then fall in love
amazing,
with it. Our generations are not going to last forever. It's not news to us. New generations are coming in. You've got to accommodate. Old things don't always work all of the time, especially for people who are coming in. You know, there's babies born every second, every millisecond of every day, who one day will grow up and they will be looking for something. And Halo can do that in the next generation.
And when you say new things, she's not even talking about like in game. No. You know, because that's like it's a whole different. That's a whole exactly. That's a whole different topic,
but
right?
New concepts of the same beautiful imagination that Halo brings to children, to adults, to elderly people. God's sake, anyone can play this game. It's so it's so like ideal for everybody, and it's amazing that. Why not share it, and why not push it to its most potential? Yep. That is something I'll never understand. Other people thinking that way. The Battle Royale does nothing but help, really.
I retweeted Jack, Courage. I know Jack pretty well.
Did you get a lot of hate from that?
Got a couple.
Yeah.
Just from a retweet he got an insane amount of hate.
I know, but it's silly.
But people are tweeting me, keep that trash out of my game. And it's like,
Why?
Bro.
Don't play it then.
Yeah.
Because like enjoy your campaign.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing wrong with I love a campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up on Halo 3 campaign. That is what I did as a kid with my brother, and I loved it. That doesn't make me feel like I can't have something new, a new concept and something exciting to play. BR is what's happening.
Jack had a great
great
reply when people were saying like,
yeah,
don't follow the trend or whatever. He's like, I am by no means saying that they should not focus on the multiplayer. He goes, I assume the game has been in development. He goes, I assume the multiplayer is going to be amazing. He's like, but a Battle Royale will bring in a new trend.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the topic that is always talked about in the Halo community of if these old games were released, how would it go? Because there's such a new generation, like Battle Royales is the new generation of players for the most part, right? So Halo has to try to do something to bring people in. And I think just releasing multiplayer, it could work. You could just release the multiplayer and everything can go great and all can be good. But you're definitely making your life a lot harder because the multiplayer needs to be the best thing. The multiplayer needs to be the best thing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
For it to become a top esport again.
I think it's funny that some of the arguments to it are don't follow the trend. Well, multiplayer is a trend. Yeah. Campaign is done everywhere. There are huge campaign games everywhere, and they come out every single day. So to say like it's a trend is silly because unfortunately, you can't just come and bring out something like a new concept like Battle Royale and then say that, don't follow that trend. That's so stupid. That's so annoying. We're not about that. But you are on trends with other games anyway. You are pushing your game or esport backwards by not allowing it to dive into other things. It's like saying, let's say in the future, every single car goes to water power. You need water power or whatever it is. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we stop, we're eco-friendly in the future. We stop using gas. We stop using all of that. And just because you love your Jeep and you love the way it runs and the smell of gasoline in your hair.
Don't follow the trend.
Don't follow the trend because why? That's so lame. That's so silly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so silly to say that. That was the most ridiculous comparison I've ever made in my life.
That's what we deal with over in Halo.
It's just silly because you can make the most out of this game. This game needs the love and support, and it needs new things and new concepts and new ideas, but keeping it within the same realm. This is Halo. Keep it Halo. Yeah. But bring it into a new generation.
I think that they have a big advantage over at Infinite because I'm not on the side of Jack of saying it has to be out right away.
Yeah.
I think that they should just copy what Call of Duty did. Copy, as in like.
Be careful.
No,
you're about to get a lot of hate.
I know, because that's following the trend, right? No, but Call of Duty released Warzone after the game already came out.
Yes.
Just do that.
Do it till it's ready.
Do it till it's ready. Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, I don't think it necessarily is make or break off launch, but I think that at some point they said Infinite has a 10-year plan. If in the span of that 10 years you have not released a Battle Royale, someone isn't looking at the data.
No.
Because
my
I don't know.
My kids would be very upset.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I'll tell you what, though, and talking about trends, just as the last thing I'm going to say about trends, set your own trends.
Yep.
You can still have a Battle Royale, which is the concept. Everyone has a house. What you put in your house is different to everyone else. No one has the same interior house. Make your Battle Royale version unique. And let's be honest, Halo is extremely unique in its own. It is very, very unique. The movement, the fact you can strafe in Halo, let alone anything else, the concept, the time, the universe, it's completely unique to anything out there. Let alone the graphics, everything. So don't worry about the trend so much.
Make it Halo.
Make it Halo, but make it Battle Royale. And I'll tell you what, that will be huge.
Yeah, last comment, because obviously we don't want it to run too long here, but it's funny because on the whole topic of following the trends and stuff like that, it's like if you would have looked at Fortnite back in 2018, how ridiculous. Like, think about Fortnite, right? And how popular it is and just the mass media it ended up getting and how it boomed, right? Like, think about like Fortnite the game was. It's a Battle Royale that had never been done before. Right? Yeah. Like building and all this stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so different and so new. But like, you could have looked at that and been like, oh, another Battle Royale. That's what people are doing. Oh,
Yeah.
another Battle Royale. But if it's unique and its own game, it could be great.
Every single Battle Royale I've ever seen is different.
Yep.
It really is. It's extremely different. Similar concept, but very, very different, to the point where it's enjoyable playing different ones, and I feel like I'm playing completely different things. So I think if you're doing that, and that's the feeling you're getting and the reception you're getting, you're doing something right, and you are making it unique.
Agreed.
But I tell you what, folks, you are entitled to your own opinions. We do want to hear what you have to say about this. Do you want an infinite Battle Royale? Is that something you'd be looking out for? Are you an absolute no way stan on this earth? Would I ever let Halo have a Battle Royale? Let us know, because ultimately the decision is not up to us. It's up to Halo and what they're doing and where they're taking this and what direction they're going in. But I personally would love to see one. I know you would. I know a lot of other people would. It'd be wonderful. It'd make my Christmas. So it's on my list to Santa this year. But I tell you what, it's about that time, Pete, to rate this beautiful Queen Anne coffee from Seattle, gifted by a wonderful friend, Dashy. What are you going to give it? Shall I let you go first today? How many grinds?
An 8. I'm going to give it an 8. Because it's good.
Yeah.
For a light roast, I say it every time. Light roast, not my absolute favorite.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
I totally see where you're coming from. I'm actually going to up you an 8.5 because I am not usually a massive fan of a light roast. I haven't found a light roast I like, but that is really good.
Yeah.
I love that light roast. I think it's really nice, and it's actually quite full-bodied for a light roast.
Yeah.
I also love the packaging. I think the packaging is so freaking cool. So yeah, I'm super impressed with this. And do you know what? I've actually tried Seattle coffee previously when I've been traveling, especially for Halo. I tried Seattle coffee and it was absolutely amazing. So I'm not surprised that I like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, stunning. 8.5 and an 8.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think it might be one of our top. I think it's our top rated so far.
Yeah, so far.
Shout out Dashy.
Dashy.
Thanks for sending it over, Tosh.
Good job. Good job, bro. We love it. But I tell you what, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It has been an absolute pleasure bringing you episode 4 of 2 Times the Grind. And you know what? Let us know what you think of it. Let us know any topics that you want to see. Make sure you give this a rating if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify. Make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe if you fancy to see more of this. And we will catch you guys next week, next Wednesday for episode 5. And as always, stay on the grind.